Developing news out of Citronelle tonight. We're learning more about how an 11-year-old boy got trapped under a boulder and died.
Fox 10 News reporter Libby Amos was on the scene. She joins us live now in our studio. Libby, what can you tell us about how the little boy ended up under that rock?
Well, Bob and Lenise, kids in the neighborhood have played around the rock for years. And that's all these kids were doing, just being boys and playing outside. This morning, though, one of the boys, Daniel, didn't make it back home after going out to play. Rescue workers say 11-year-old Daniel and his friend were playing underneath the 84-ton slab of solid rock when it cracked and fell. Citronelle Fire Chief Johnny Simison was the first responder on the scene.
When we got here, the rock was intact. The kid's shoes were by the rock cap. There was no sign of him. We tried to dig around the rock ourselves to see anything of him or anything like that. We couldn't find anything.
Daniel's friend told Simison after the rock cracked, he ran for help.
Of course, he was covered in dirt where he had fell. He said that the rock had moved and kind of basically knocked him out of the way, but got on top of his friend. So.
Crews were digging through the clay but couldn't get to Daniel until contractors from ThyssenKrupp rolled in with backup support. Michael Roberts helped operate one of the track hose that lifted the boulder.
We just grabbed the rock and lifted it up and flipped it out of the way.
All that's left now of the 84-ton boulder are these giant pieces of rock. That's because rescue workers had to crush it in order to get to the boy. The only sign of the boys in all the rubble are their shoes and a baseball hat. Adults in the area say they played on the rock when they were kids, 40 years ago.
The rock it was big flat rock, and it kind of curved out over some other rocks. I mean, it looked like it would fall if somebody, pushed on it, but nobody ever thought it would. I can't believe it fell.
Daniel's mother was on the scene, and his father is trying to catch a flight out of Pittsburgh so that he can come home. Several of the people we talked to on the scene tonight say their area received all of that rain we got last week. Many of them said they think the huge amounts of water may have loosened the ground around the rock. But regardless of why the rock cracked after so many years, one family will be without their son this Christmas.